Yeah. Yeah, because they'll forget and they'll say, "Oh, I paid $2.75 for this last time. Why are you charging me $12?"
So what will it show for them when they got a shared portion of it? Will it indicate that, or would it just say the dollar amount of their piece of the shared cost?
It's the quantity on the left-hand side. And now, right now on the screen, it's set to a whole number. And in the minimum quantity you can have is 1. It's not going to run down to 0. So when it's actually printed to paper, in this case, we divided it five ways? 5 ways or 6 ways? 6 ways. So it would be 0.18 of ganache.
Oh, is that right? It'll actually show up on there as 0.18?
That's correct. On paper, on the 40-column printer, on the guest check, it does.
Yeah.
But on the screen here, it's whole numbers, not fractional numbers.
So then if it shows up like that when they guest check, then by definition when they go into the resident portal and they look at their own charges, they would see, oh, I had 0.18 as a gnocchi. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right.
All right. Any other questions on splitting checks or anything like that?
No.
Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and settle this transaction out. We do have a couple other buttons up here that you may or may not need. Change quantity is essentially just ordering multiple of something. Nothing too crazy there. Check description is just another way for servers to identify exact. But since you guys are looking up residents, really no need for that.
I had a question as far as.
I'm sorry?
Let's say if you close out a check to cash and you meant to do it as far as like credit cards, can you just show me how you can make that quick? As far as if you cashed it out wrong and then you want to reopen the check and be able to choose.
Sure. Absolutely. So let's run that example on this check here. So I've got a total of $30.95. I'm going to settle this transaction. So it's supposed to be to house charge, and I accidentally settled it out to cash. Now, demo mode may have just stopped me from doing this, but let's see what we got here. I can do it with any closed check that it's done. So as a manager, I can go back into any transaction that's been closed out, and you can do that a number of different ways. The more information you have about the transaction, the easier it's going to be to find. So if you do have the actual transaction number or check number, you can look for that specific number. If you're looking at a wider range of time, you can just look at a list, and we can customize this list for different ranges of time. But I should mention, since I'm signed in as a server, I don't have the security level to get to manager screen, so I'm going to have to enter my code in here. Otherwise, I would just sign in as a manager. But here you can see a list of all the closed transactions that's happened recently. I'm just going to grab this $30.95 here. Now, at this point, I'm just reviewing it, but you can see all the information about the check as far as who settled it, how they settled it. We could do a refund or reopen the check, but in your example, we just want to change tender types. So I'm just going to hit change tender type. It's going to bring me back to this screen, and instead of cash, I'm going to do house charge or maybe Visa.
Okay. And you have to be in the manager. You'd have to have the manager code to do that, though, correct?
Yes, you would need to have a manager to do that, but of course we could limit this to certain employees. So if you do have like a head server that you want to be able to do some of these manager functions, essentially we can level their security level a little bit higher, bring these buttons a little bit lower, and they can hit some of these buttons, but not quite all. So we do have a lot of flexibility as far as who can do what.
Thank you.
Very welcome. So a couple other scenarios. I'm just looking at my list here. I want to make sure I hit every point. We did talk about the error correct, and this being not allowed to be voided out after the fact. If you want to see a manager doing that, it's just a manager's button here. So you get void item, punching your code. It's going to ask you the reason why are you voiding this out, wrong item ordered, or guest change order. And it's going to flip that red. Now, I just did a modifier, but I could have done the entire thing of spaghetti. Are there any questions